All right, what's going on, guys? So in today's video, I want to talk about the car company Lucid, who just revealed their car lineups for 2021 and 2022. And I am very excited to see this car company produce what they were able to produce. I'll get into that later in the video. And as a disclaimer, just before I get into this video, so you guys are aware, I do have holdings in Tesla, but I do want to give my honest opinions on Lucid, my overall thoughts on their reveal, and how I think this might affect Tesla and other car companies in the future. So overall, I think the reveal and presentation was really well done. Once they started talking about the journey of how they built Lucid, and they had the different VPs talking about their own department and what they had to do in order to make a Lucid a reality, or will be a reality soon. I think that was also really just heartwarming because it really made it seem like they had a lot of passion and drive to make Lucid succeed. So I really did enjoy the overall presentation and reveal of the entire event. So styling is completely subjective, just like smartphone or laptops, but I think the car looks really good. So it's always weird describing the look of a car because to me they look like a human face from the front. And I would say that the front of the Lucid actually looks really calm and reserved. It's not too aggressive or like in your face. And I would say that it's honestly almost on par with the Tesla Model S in terms of the design. I will say that the Model S probably looks a little bit more sporty just because it has a little bit more, I guess, angles to it. But I would say in terms of the interior, it's a little bit of a hit or a miss for me. But I would say that the interior overall is much better than the Model S. Like, I could see a lot of people in the luxury market prefer going inside the Lucid than the Model S just from what you get inside the interior of the car alone. But for me, the miss for me is that there are too much screens going on in the inside. Now, obviously, when you're driving, your experience might change because you might realize that, hey, I'm actually not looking at all these screens, because I know when the Model 3 came out, people are like, oh wow, one screen? How am I supposed to be able to drive? But it turns out people over time have preferred just having one screen than having multiple screens that you have to look at throughout the car. So I think once people start driving it, maybe if I were to drive one day, my opinion might change. But for me, it just looks like there's a little bit too much going on in terms of the screens. But what I want to talk about is the executive package, which I don't think will be that big of a difference for most people because it seems to be for a very small segment. But the executive package, my God, it looks amazing with the panoramic roof on the top, and the seat is able to recline, and it just seems like you are at the top of the world if you were sitting in that car with the executive package and someone's just driving you around. I honestly think that whoever buys the car with the executive package, I need to be your friend. Now, I want to go over the trim levels. I don't have this memorized, but I do want to give you guys some information on what they have. I love my phone didn't go landscape mode, but first off, we don't have much information about the base model. They say it starts at less than $80,000, and this one is expected to release in 2022. And I'll get into the release dates a little bit later because I do think this is an interesting point. And then the Lucid Air Touring starts at $95,000, and the range on that is 406 miles, which is it's pretty much on par with the Model S. And it's a dual motor, all-wheel drive, and it has what they call the Level 2 Dream Drive. I'm guessing that's just like their autopilot, their autonomy. This one comes out in Q4 2021. And then we have the Lucid Air Grand Touring, which starts at a whopping $139,000. And this is the one that has 517 miles of range on a dual motor. That is very impressive. That's the highest range electric vehicle sedan out on the market today. Not even Tesla has something like that. So I think that in itself in the feat is really impressive. Like I said, it's a dual motor, all-wheel drive. This one has Level 3 Dream Drive. And interestingly enough, on the website, it says this one gets over-the-air updates, and this one is expected to release Q2 of 2021, so next year. So I do think that it's a little bit weird that the touring model doesn't get over-the-air updates, or maybe they just left it out. But next up, we go into the Lucid Air Dream Edition, and this one is $169,000. Now, if you get the Aero wheels, you get up to, not Aero wheels, but the 19-inch wheels, basically the ones that are more aerodynamic or made for efficiency. You get 503 miles of range, but if you get the 21-inch wheels, you get 465 miles of range. This is the one that they talked about the most. This is the one that we're probably going to see first on the roads. So this one is the one that does a 9.9 quarter mile time, which is very impressive. I know I saw that video when it was competing against the Model S, and it beat it, smoked it. Has 2.5 seconds up to 0 to 60. This one has over 1,000 horsepower. They have their coined Santa Monica interior, dual motor, all-wheel drive, and this one also has the level 3 Dream Drive with over-the-air updates, and this one comes out 2021 Q2. And I think Lucid's business model is they're not really trying to get Tesla Model S owners over to go buy their cars, because I think just in terms of price and the value you get, I think that the Model S is a better option. But in terms of overall interior design, performance, as well as luxuriousness, I think Lucid is trying to target people who won't get out of their Mercedes S-Class, or maybe people that are buying very expensive Audi cars. Like, they're people that aren't getting out of those cars to a Tesla. They're trying to market their people to, I would say this is almost in line with the Porsche Taycan almost, because the Porsche Taycan is a very nice looking car. It offers very good performance. The interior is also very nice, and I believe it's sold out, or at least got back ordered when the pre-orders went out. So in terms of what Lucid is going for, I don't think that they're going for the Model S owners. They're going for people who, like I said before, are driving S-Class, high-end BMW series cars, Audis, things like that. So I think that is very good to start with, and then as time goes on, then you start to compete against the Model S. So in terms of the business model, very similar to Tesla. They're just starting off a little bit higher in the target audience that they're aiming for. So some of the technology and features, and what I really got from Peter, who is the CEO of Lucid, is they really talked about efficiency throughout the entire reveal. And I think that's also something that is very commonly overlooked. Like your car, he talked about how you can slap a big battery in a car with the long range, but if it's not efficient, then it doesn't really matter. What they're trying to create is smart range with Lucid. And I think in terms of aerodynamics and the way the car functions, I think that's how they're able to get such good usage out of the battery and that long range. He was calling it range confidence instead of range anxiety. I thought that was pretty funny. But the 517 range, I believe that's claimed. We're gonna have to wait until some people test the car and see how much range they can actually get out the car. But that is a very impressive feat, and I really do like the way Lucid is pushing that envelope of, hey, cars with EVs or cars with batteries need more range than just 400. Like, it's not enough. Not that it's not enough, it's just that more is better than less. I don't think anyone would say, hey, I wish I had a smaller battery in my EV car. So the next thing on the list is the bidirectional voltage that you get from the battery, and I think this is also very impressive from Lucid. So the battery inside the car, I believe it's the biggest, it's 113 kilowatts. So in theory, you can technically power your entire house. Well, depending on how big your house is. Like if you have a mansion, I don't know if your Lucid Air is going to be powering your house, but in theory, for like, I would say for the average household in America, you could probably power your home for several days or even more just off your car battery alone. So I think that is also another pretty impressive technology that Lucid was able to create. Next up, they also say they had the biggest frunk ever with the double decker. We're gonna have to wait and see how that looks like in person, but from videos and pictures that I've seen online, it looks really, really deep and spacious. So that is also really nice. The trunk is a little bit of a miss for me because although it does look really spacious, I think just the opening isn't big enough. It would have been nice to see like a hatchback design, because that's kind of how it looks like from the way the trunk lines look. But in terms of spaciousness, it's very spacious. Also another double decker design. So also that's really nice that Lucid created that as well. Next up, Alexa is built in. I thought this was a very interesting choice. I would have liked to seen something that's a little bit more agnostic to whatever technology you're using. So like if you had an iPhone, you would just use Siri. If you had, Samsung or Android phone, you can use Bixby or Google Assistant. I don't really know why they chose to just go with Alexa, but it's not a bad choice. But maybe down the road they might change this. I don't know if they had a deal with Amazon if they're a big investor. There's also LiDAR scanners with cameras as well. level 3 autonomy hardware on the vehicle, similar to Tesla, but it seems that both of them just use the current level 2 autonomy that is allowed by the government, at least here in the US. I think the other nice big benefit of Lucid right now is that you still get the federal tax credit of $7,500 off the vehicle. And as well, depending on your state, you can also add those incentives on top of that. So, I mean, it's a good time to be buying a very ultra luxury EV vehicle by Lucid. So next up, I want to talk about the online and retail experience, because this was another big talking point of the reveal, and it's a little bit in between for me. So compared to Tesla, which is super basic in terms of their website as well as their showroom that they have across the nation, Tesla is like really basic. Like you just click a couple buttons and then you're done. With Lucid, it seems that they're going for a more traditional style, although they really talked about how they got influenced from video games. Now, I went to the website and I tried to customize mine. I will say that I didn't have that good of an experience because it was very laggy overall. And it kind of reminded me of designing a Genesis. But when I went over to the Genesis website, everything was just super buttery smooth. So I don't know if it was a lot of people hitting the site, but I did try again this morning and I was still getting that same laggy experience. So hopefully with the online shopping experience, they do improve, I guess, the performance of designing the car. But I think what they're really trying to do is you customize your car and then you get the code at the very end, at the summary, and then you take that code to the showroom or retail store, and then you're supposed to sit in a Lucid Air seat and put on a VR headset, and you give them the code and it loads up your configuration, and you can look around and experience the configuration that you got. I think this is a really cool. I think what they're really trying to do is just get people's foot inside the door, because they know their market for people who are buying this car is going to be very small. But if a lot of people are talking about this car at this price point, and when the regular cars, not regular cars, but when the base model comes out, that would be more affordable for more people, I would say, in Tesla's market with the Model S. That people will be ready to go and purchase that car. So nothing spreads faster than word of mouth. So if you just get people in the room to experience Lucid, everyone's aware of Lucid, then come 2022, people won't be surprised or say, hey, what is Lucid? Now I want to talk about EVs and just the overall opinions on the event. So Lucid looks very promising because they've built a car that is feasible, that I think is something that I can see take the same route that Tesla did by making something really ultra luxury and just testing things out. Not saying that the first people that are going to buy are going to be beta testers, even though they kind of are, but it seemed that Lucid is very focused on quality over quantity. And if they are able to sell the very expensive models, and they're able to learn from their mistakes in terms of the production line, so when time comes to release the base model in 2022, I don't know if most of it's going to be ironed out, but some of the problems or hiccups they might have in the initial beginning stages might be fixed come time the base model. And I think that will really help in terms of quote unquote mass producing their cars on a large scale. So I think in terms of the EV market, I think it's very good. It also pushes innovation as well, because, you know, as much as I love Tesla, I don't want a monopoly to happen in terms of the EV space, because Tesla is a very good car. If you have not experienced it, you can look at pictures all day, but until you physically sit in that car and drive it, it's a very different experience. Driving experience. In terms of the interior, you might be swayed one way or another. Now, another thing that I really liked about Lucid is that they really didn't seem to try and want to talk about being a Tesla killer. I know there's a lot of headlines saying Lucid is now the Tesla killer, but I feel like they're more of a companion to Tesla, like they're with Tesla on this EV journey, whereas it seems like the traditional ICE companies are trying to create Tesla killing cars, where Lucid, in terms of what they were talking about, they almost talked as if Tesla didn't even exist to them. Everything is built in-house. They're trying to make this innovative product that people want to buy. And, you know, even though there are competitors out there, it seemed that Lucid was really just focused on making the best possible technology and EV car that they can make. And I really do like how Lucid presented themselves. Instead of saying, hey, this is our car, it's going to compete against the Model S in this category, this category, this category, this category, and it's going to kill this car. And I think with Lucid, if they can get people to buy their car, that's the biggest hurdle I think they have to face. They've proven that they can make the technology, but I think if they can get people to buy their car, and if they can get people to buy their car on a consistent monthly basis and show that, hey, this car is actually worth buying and people have a good experience, that later down the road that they can actually become another big EV car company in the future. I think it was really nice to see Peter talk about his vision and journey and how everything pretty much became a reality. So I'm really excited to see some of these cars. I did look on the map. There is a showroom that's supposed to come out in my state. We'll see what happens in Q2 2021. Maybe I'll make a video on that. But overall with Lucid, I am pretty impressed with this vehicle. I can't wait to see it in person, get my real thoughts on it, because things really do seem different in person than pictures and a spec sheet. So hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. Hope you found it informative. Let me know down in the comments below what you think of Lucid, if you think it's a Tesla killer, or if you think it's what I think it is, more of like a companion to the EV market. But subscribe if you want to see more tech content. Like the video, dislike it if you want to give me some feedback. And as always guys, much love.